All right, guys, so today we're here to talk about the 26 Mile Project. My name is Kevin Williams. I'm one of the videographers here, and let's just go right around.
Okay, my name is Boris Privalikin, and I'm manager of infrastructure operations for Datto, responsible for all our data centers in US and abroad.
Adam Rua, project manager at Datto, assigned to random projects across everywhere, and the only person at this table outside of you who's not part of infrastructure.
Bill Cellis, I'm Datto's round trip manager.
Jory Wanino, Director of Infrastructure.
Austin Wilson, Network Engineering Manager.
The 26 Mile project was to move from our current data center to a bigger data center because of the growth that we were experiencing. We named the project 26 Mile because the distance was actually 26 miles between the two data centers that we were moving.
Yeah, it was a great time to do upgrades that we wanted to do, that we just hadn't had a chance to do, or it's hard to do in line and all that kind of stuff. So it was a great opportunity to revamp the network and to really kind of work on the next gen and the next level that we were looking for.
We were running out of space at the old location, but we were also running out of power, and facilities improvements were lengthy. We were going to have to do a 12 to 13 month construction project in order to bring more power into the building. So it was a pretty severe limitation.
Wanted to keep the guys, wanted to keep the team together. So keep all the benefits, just move to a better facility that allowed us to continue to be Datto for years to come.
Key differentiating factor in choosing the data center is proximity.
We had over 2,600 machines that we had to move. How many? 250, 260 racks?
About that.
We had to do this without any major disruption. We had to do it while keeping the business running, and we had to do it with minimal impact on our partners.
The first time I met Jerry, he's like, hey, you ever moved a data center before? And my answer was, I don't think you could find a lot of people who have, to which he replied, I've done it a couple times.
We ended up doing 14 moves, as I recall, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
which means a lot of sleepless nights.
Right. And over those 118 days, the days you moved, maybe there were only 14, but there was all the prep going into each one of those. And you mentioned the timing and the 4 months, and we did the first move in May and the last move in September, and it was 118 days. And we're all out of Connecticut, and so we're all back and forth between here and Pennsylvania. So it was a long 4 months, very long time.
We focus on the moves being 14, but 14 moves actually mean that most of us were on the road for at least 3 times that, and the effort into that was probably 10 times that, because of how much we had to think, double check things, dot I's, cross T's to make things happen. And you'd be working, all day traveling here, kicking off a move at 9, going to bed at 5, and if all you did was work, you'd have, you'd hate it, because you'd be mortgaging your time, your effort, sleepless nights, trying to figure out some of these things. And it led to us blasting music in the office room here and dancing around sometimes, and us, laughing on the floor as we were putting things back together.
And I think we realized pretty quickly that once you supply the movers with pizza,
efficiency goes through the roof. It was great. Now the relationship there was huge. They were always good, but I mean, towards the end.
but they were better with pizza.
Yeah, better with pizza, and just an absolute it lit a fire in them. It was like, well, I'm going to help you with everything now, and it was great. They were originally it was just point to point, but then it was like everything from how we would get things out of the movement boxes. And storage facilities, even all the way to the aisle and rack.
Once they became part of the team.
Yeah, they were absolutely part of the team by the end of this. I think everyone was, right? Yeah. It was really, to your point, really well-oiled machine by the time we got to the end.
Originally, we started in the old data center. Then we started moving everything to the new location. But the staff's in the first data center. So at what point do you cut those guys over to the new place? So, because they've got to split their day now. And they're running back and forth. And that 26 miles ends up being a 50-mile round trip for these guys. And so, they'd have to come up, start their day at the old place, come up and start doing whatever we needed at the new facility, go back and try to end the day at the old facility. That went on for months until we had enough of a tipping point to have them start the day at the new facility, and then they started winding down the old facility. So over 4 months, we were running 2 facilities.
We set up a small footprint here initially, so that we can start moving some servers over there and start having some services of the overflow services from the old data center to start deploying them here. We also had some back-end connectivity, and so that we can actually fail over those internal services over here. So we got some dark fiber between the 2 sites because of the distance. It worked out pretty well with that. And then we just started moving over services, but we also had to fail over that traffic and do that during a maintenance window so that at least it was low impact to the customer. And so that we do that in those waves. And so we would take the servers in their batches that we were moving them in, and then we would move over all that traffic. We would change how we sent that traffic out to the internet. And it was definitely a lot of moving parts in that process. But again, we worked out some of the bugs in the first 2 or 3 times. And after that, it was a really smooth, oiled process. It was great. It was really wonderful.
Originally, we were just going to move row by row because it's logically easy. You roll up all of your moving equipment to one section of your data center, you rip everything out, and you just essentially transplant an aisle at a time. And then we found out that was a terrible idea because of just the technical aspects behind it. And a big thing there was how you move your network. So we ended up actually pulling components out of everywhere in the data center, which happened to be a positive because it allowed you to deploy more teams to different parts of the data center. So coincidentally, it actually helped a ton.
Yeah, logistically, we realized you can only have so many people working in an aisle moving a 140-pound machine.
Makes sense.
So if you space them out across the entire data center, it makes a difference.
Yeah, they're not tripping over each other. When it came toward the end, you're doing a corporate heart and brain transplant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're trying to keep it while the patient's still driving, right? I mean,
We had a no-go process that support would help us with, and we would literally tape off a server because we figured out after a couple times that if you don't physically red tape it, some confusion can happen.
Okay.
Normally, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, we would actually hand the process over to support, and then they would continue bringing the machines back online, working with customers, bringing up DRs or virtualizations through the morning.
Yeah. And just to highlight, there was a series of events in this process. So it wouldn't be, in a lot of cases, those first servers that we were handing off at 6, because although we had a 12-hour maintenance window, we actually targeted a 4-hour outage window per node. So we did everything in batches. So by the time, for example, you'd unrack batch 1, put that on a truck, you'd start unracking batch 2. By the time that truck was loaded, truck 1 was already at your next site because we're only 26 miles away. So batch 1 would be going in with the secondary team that we had there, or a team that left with that truck. And now you're starting to unrack batch 3. So it was literally like a domino effect of things going on. But servers would absolutely be coming online before your last servers were turned offline. And that was literally to lessen the impact and to shift that focus over the support team, so that they could start doing their thing as opposed to handing them, 200 plus servers.
Tech support was involved heavily. Systems engineering, cloud engineering,
operations.
Network
team.
engineering. We had an outside consultant called Blue Heron that helped us. We had 7 people from Contigix, plus a various number of temps in the process. 3 or 4 unique people there.
Probably went through about 20 different movers. The same company, but 20 different people were rotating through.
Various product team members and leadership to make some, decisions on when we were gonna actually move things.
Various developers involved in the process because some of the stuff needed, various code changes in order to occur. The portal teams, various web applications, Backupify team, cloud support team. I think one of the things that people don't realize is that each one of these servers came out of a rack, and they're 130, 140 pounds each. So 2,600 something servers were removed one by one by human beings and placed in another rack 26 miles away. So that's, I think we calculated roughly 747 worth of cargo.
It's two 747s.
Two 747s worth of cargo if you count it all the way up.
I mean, there's almost 100,000 spinners out there.
There was over 100,000 drives in our fleet.
Yep.
The Swift move.
Oh,
So
yeah.
out of the 2,600 plus servers, 1/4 of them moved right after the 4th of July. We have one cluster that could not come down in pieces. We had to take the whole thing down at once. So that was what, 700?
something,
Yeah.
yeah.
All in one batch on a Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was a really unique move, one, because of the size, but two, because of how everything changed during that day. So originally, because of how big it was and because of the impact that had because of what we were moving, not only the data portion servers, but we were also moving essentially the brain of that system at the same time. We had planned to just do all the physical effort on Saturday and then to deploy our technical teams to bring everything up the following day, maybe some at the night on Saturday into Sunday. So we absolutely, completely believed we were gonna take a 2-day outage there. And then we just started moving a lot faster than we expected, which caused a cascade of decisions to have to be made. And Jerry was here, so it would be me going up to Jerry and be like, can we do this instead? So essentially shifting part of our team completely off to just now start focusing on bringing things back online. And that was a super significant decision, which led us to bring, at the end of the day, right? So skipping a good portion of the story, but we brought up everything except 10 servers, I want to say it was. We called the day at 10 p.m. We all went to our hotels, and we decided we were going to get here at 9 the next day to continue the effort. And by the time we got back, we found out Andy Gomez never went to sleep. And he continued bringing on servers. So by the time we got in next day at 9, we had 3 servers still down, and the only reason they weren't online is because he literally needed components changed. So he actually needed the hands on the servers. So we changed that up, and it wasn't even lunchtime by the time we were all set.
I would say that nobody does this that fast. We did a flawless job in a very short period of time.
Over the course of 14 moves, we really got to fine tune how the whole process worked. And I think after move maybe 3, I think we had it really dialed in.
Yeah.
We came a really long way from the first move. What did we move? 25 servers?
32.
We moved 32 servers. We started at 9 o'clock at
4
night,
hours.
and we finished at 2 in the morning or something, 3 in the morning.
It was rough.
By the end, we were moving 200 servers at a clip
In a normal day, it was at least 200 servers.
in about the same amount of time as
Yep.
we could move 20.
Always
So the
find it.
lesson learned there is that there's no way you can prepare, you just have to practice. This is why we did it in a bunch of small pieces, is we started to find these things. We started to figure out how to label things even better, color code things, extra screwdrivers and drills and screws and parts that you didn't anticipate.
Yeah, also another thing we learned is that to know your lead times, because obviously when you're such a big project like this, you're going to run into sourcing problems, and we totally took out the inventory at a number of different vendors just because of the scale that we were doing this, and so knowing the lead times, making sure you have the stuff, and I think we did a pretty good job on trying to work around those issues and things like that. We doubled our capacity on our internet bandwidth. We also again with the upgrades that we did, we are now able to grow to just 10, 20 times that amount. So, just the space that we have so much room to grow in this facility, whether that's, bandwidth wise, whether that's, cabinet space wise, power wise, it provides us a good foothold for, the next 10 years. It's just really a great place to start. And that's what it is. It's just, we're starting to just go to the next level here. And so it was just a great opportunity for us to make that change.
And our capacity is one thing, but it's also how quick we can do it now, right?
Right, which is definitely an advantage because we can build the cabinet really quick here. We have power right in place, all we have to do is put the box in, connect it to the cabinet. So we are not waiting for 2 weeks for the electricians to run the whip to that particular location. It's already there. So we improved, like I agree with Austin, the main part here is we can smoothly grow for a long period of time. We have everything for that: space, power, bandwidth.
Yeah, we've also standardized a lot of processes doing this too. Because we did this in bulk, we kind of, okay, how do we do this and how do we make it, very quickly, right? And so with that process, we standardized our cabling deployments, our cabinet deployments, all this kind of stuff. So, with just to make that process quicker, not just the fact that we don't need electricians to set up every cabinet, but we also, our internal processes have improved just night and day on how to do that and how to grow moving forward. And we're continuing to do even more of that with internal tools and management and things like that, so we can streamline that, that growth for the customer.
I know on the round trip side too, it gave me an opportunity to update a lot of equipment that we had basically from day one. Went to all rack mount equipment where previously we had things spread out on what we called baker's racks. And I think with some of the network improvements, jury's still out on this, but I think we're seeing a decrease in round trips because we're getting better uploads from devices in the field. That's a good thing. Round trip is there if you need it, but we prefer you didn't need it. So I think that's a win, and our volume is down on the round trip side because of that.
An interesting side effect of having your own controlled space is you no longer need doors on the cabinets because it's all locked with iris scan and controlled by us, and it makes a great difference when you have to change 30 or 40 drives a day to not have to open 30 or 40 doors and to be able to ID a server quicker.
Well, very important is space. Right now we can double the number of cabinets in our own data hall, and basically we have tons of power on site that we can use in the future.
And at the end of the day, it's a custom-built facility. It's our aisles. It's our naming convention. You walk into that room, everything in that room's ours.
Yeah.
It just makes our lives easier because whatever we want to test out, whatever we want to deploy, it's our prerogative now. We don't have to worry about anyone else getting in anyone else's way, and it allows us to do things the Datto way.
It's definitely disturbing when you call up and you're looking for parts for your data center in Canada, and your supplier says, "We don't know. It looks like somebody in the United States just bought all of this."
True.
And then you realize that was you. So that really did happen.
That was pretty crazy.
Weren't there 4 good luck items?
There was a few
There was
good
the
luck.
cooler that held the sodas and the Red Bull.
Yeah.
The hat that I would wear, and then I stopped wearing it after that really tough one.
So it wasn't really good luck.
I know, yeah, that one was only good luck for a limited period of time. The pizza that we would always order. We didn't order pizza once, and that was a bad move, so we went back to pizza.
Right.
It turns out if you order $100 and something worth of pizza in Reading, Pennsylvania, American Express will call you.
Learn something new.
Can't have enough CMOS batteries?
We ran into a situation where we started powering machines on and they wouldn't boot. And we're going nuts trying to figure out what it was at like 2, 3 in the morning, trying to find the coin batteries for the motherboards because they had died, somewhere along the way.
Right.
And so what, you guys were calling around to truck stops
On the truck stop.
on I-78 up
Jerry
here.
called a truck stop, and fun fact, if you get on the Pennsylvania Thruway, There's not an exit for 18 miles. So we ended up in like Bethlehem or some neighboring city here, 18 miles away. Had to do a U-turn and come back. FYI, that truck stop did not have the coin batteries.
They told me on the phone they did, but I think they were kidding when I asked if they had 100 coin batteries.
Yeah, so they did. And then we found out when we got back that there was a 24-hour Walmart 5 minutes away. So, together.
I think you know you've been here enough when the manager of Homewood Suites comes out and says, "Who's Datto and what are you doing?" Because you keep showing up.
To mention that, we've been here so often that that particular hotel offer us a special rate. Just for Datto. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
Half of what normal people pay. Just like that. That was great.
Yeah. We even knew the hostess. Like we would walk in like, "Hey Adam," I'm like, "Oh man, I've been here way too long." You know, my
Nice to
name's
see you
Adam.
again, yeah.
They weren't even taking our cards over the phone anymore. They're like, "Yeah, we know." You'll be
Yeah,
here."
you come into the reception and the
Yeah.
ladies over there goes, "Oh, Boris, hello." I'm like, "Yep,
Yeah.
that's like home now."